our first order of business is to award one of our scholarship recipients tonight. It's Eva Bell. And so, Morgan, as chair of the scholarship committee, I'm going to give you the honors.
All right, so on behalf of the trustees, Izzy, we want to thank you very much for submitting a very clear, well thought out application. We were all very impressed with your application and the very evident passion that you have for the library was throughout your application. So we are very happy to award you a scholarship from the Hubbardston Public Library Trustees. And we wish you all the best of luck in pursuing computer science and further education goals. And we hope that the library is a very welcoming place at college, and we welcome you back at any point in time for all of our programs. Very, very proud of you.
Get up with the picture. Picture, then we'll do a whole committee
No.
picture. So.
Pretend like you're giving it back.
What school are you going to?
Salem State University.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and then all the trustees
then
on the
we'll do
back
all the
wall,
trustees.
please. On the back wall, please, because this one's a little scary.
Up against the wall.
Up against the wall. I also have a certificate for you. Chris was gonna bring it. She's almost late, but I'll put you in front of it. Okay. Everybody scoops together. Come on. You have to be in the middle. All right, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Cheese. Books. Books. Perfect. Thank you guys.
Best of luck at D&D. And thank you very much for running all the
went to
programs.
State, she loved it there.
Oh, that's good.
And you're welcome to stay for the meeting, but if you want to go do something else on a Thursday night, you are welcome to do
I
that.
don't have anything else going on, but you want to kick me out?
No, if you'd like to stay, you're welcome to stay. So.
And you're welcome to come back as a trustee.
Yes.
Yes.
Finish college first.
Oh, do you want to be the keeper of the second? I don't want that responsibility.
I will actually defer this, I think, to if you are present, just in case I'm not.
Okay. I will.
Thank you.
All right. Second order of business is to welcome our newest trustee, Maria Serenity. So we are very pleased to have you.
Thank you.
Excited to have you come join our group. I thought maybe we could just take a few minutes and maybe just introduce ourselves and then maybe talk a little bit about like how long we've been on the trustees and kind of maybe give you like a little bit of an overview of some of the work that we do.
Great.
So, I'll start. So my name is Connie Strickmatter. I am currently the chair of the library trustees for lots of moments. And then I'm starting my 9th year on the committee. So I started when I moved to Hubbardston in 2016. And so it's great. I think this is one of the most collegial groups that I've worked with. I think everybody works really hard and everyone is kind of passionate and has the same goals of trying to make the libraries be the best thing it can possibly be. So I hope that your experience on here is as rewarding as I think as it's been for me. And I think I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I think it's a good group of people. So I did send you our strategic plan in our first email. So that kind of gives you like a little bit of an overview of kind of where we're trying to head for the next 5 years, with emphasis on like collections, on programming, on renovating the space, making the building more accessible. So there's a lot of kind of moving parts happening with the library right now. So this is actually a pretty exciting time to be a trustee. Given that the town offices moved out a few months ago, that gives us the whole basement and gives us this whole, like almost doubles the space that we have to think about how we can re-envision the library. So that's probably one of our bigger projects for this year, is to be working on that. Along with that goes with the idea of finding additional funding. CPA was very kind and gave us $40-some thousand to do a preliminary basement remodel. Tricia submitted a grant to the Massachusetts, executive branch for an additional grant. So we'll be kind of looking at other grant opportunities as, the year goes on, so.
Great.
So I'll pause there, cause I don't wanna monopolize it. Morgan, go ahead.
I'm Morgan Brinker. I'm starting my third term, so year 7 is starting. Chair of scholarships and policy subcommittee. And great time if anybody hasn't been in the library. Mini splits.
The mini splits.
It's kind of nice, less humidity, but foundation. There's been so much work, so it is exciting. So welcome aboard. Thank you. Looking forward to it tonight.
I'm Krista Gogan. Next year I'll be up for re-election, so I guess it's my 6th year, I guess. So, I'm excited to be on here. I wish I knew more about buildings though, because that's a lot of what we have to do on this committee.
Well, I guess you'll find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, it's been really good. So I hope you like it.
Thank you.
And Chris is currently our secretary.
Sorry, I forgot that. I'm
Policy
secretary and I
subcommittee.
work on the policies. I retired, I was a librarian, so I like to help with the library stuff when I can, but most of our role is more, advisory and building. But- And Maria said she's already been in the
Oh, perfect.
Google Drive, so
I
that's
was
good.
able to get in.
Great, okay.
Yeah. When the first click doesn't work, I just try again.
Good.
I don't know what I did, but it worked.
Good, okay.
Yes.
Chris, we'll go to you, then we'll go to Tricia, so.
Oh, I'm Chris Kissel, and this is I'm starting my 2nd year as a trustee. And I would agree with what Connie said about the group being very easy to work in. It's a busy group. It's been an eye-opener for me in terms of how the town operates and the library in particular. It's a good time to see opportunities and change in the library with the offices moving out and the renovation underway, hopefully soon. It's a good group to work in.
Great. Thank you.
Welcome. We have one more member, Tom Robinson, who I guess maybe didn't make it tonight.
And Tom's been on, like, for a very long time, like longer than me, so.
He knows about buildings, so that's been
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, that helps
Not only just
tons.
knows about buildings, but knows the town history
Yeah.
and
He's been involved with town a very long time.
Yes.
a long time.
So, yeah.
I don't know him, but I do know of him.
Mhm.
Yeah, so. Tricia, you wanna?
So Trisha Lowe, you know me from Storytime. I've been employed at the library for, it was 2 years in February. Best decision I ever made. I run not just Storytime, but I run pretty much all the programs now through the library, which is really exciting. Working for the town, I have more eligibility for grants. More grants come my way, so I will apply for as many grants until they tell me to stop. And yeah, it just so I'm the one that comes up with these harebrained schemes for the library. I will walk in and look at Chris and be like, "So I had an idea," and she'd be like, "All right, let's do this." So I try to work with the trustees on the crazier ideas that I have. Come to them with them, fundraising, that kind of things. Right, but it's where my heart is.
Do you have any questions, like initial review of the drive, or any questions you've been wondering about that you want to ask before we?
Not quite yet.
Okay, I'm sure there might be some
Yeah.
more that come along, so, yeah, so, and if anything comes up during the meeting that if we're like moving too fast or something, and you're just like, wait, like slow down to get us, make sure you understand what we're talking about, just
Okay.
feel free to stop us, because sometimes we might just like, bulldoze through stuff, so just, raise a hand, just like, stop. So.
All right, I will, thanks.
So next up is the election of a new chair and a secretary. At this point, I would like to open nominations for a new chair of the library trustees. I would like to nominate Morgan Brinker.
Second.
Could I have a second?
Second.
So, Chris seconds. All in favor of electing Morgan as the new library?
Does Morgan
Sure.
accept?
Yeah.
favor, so 4-0-1,
0-1.
yes, could be Tom absent, so.
So it's not an abstain, Tom isn't abstaining if
He's
he's
just,
not here.
he's just
Okay.
absent, yeah, so he's not here to vote.
Okay.
We also need to vote for a new secretary.
I nominate Krista.
I'm happy to second that.
Okay.
Krista, are you?
Yes, I'm willing to do it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you both.
Yes, thank you, all in favor of electing Krista, so.
I guess I shouldn't vote.
4-0-1.
Gotta vote for yourself. Who's that?
Thank
So-
you, Connie.
So thank you, Morgan, and for taking on this new leadership role. I think you're gonna be fabulous, so we're excited that you're doing it, and thank you, Krista, for continuing to be, you know, the best note taker
No.
in town. So at this point, I am going to turn over the meeting to Morgan. And if you need anything from me, just chime in, so.
We'll
Raise
maybe
your
guess
hand,
you-
too.
So, I don't know if we wanna have a vice chair. I don't know if we wanna wait on that, cause I think Tom is our current vice chair, so maybe at our next meeting we can talk about that.
If we're comfortable with that, the other thing is if the trustees are comfortable with it of, in my absence of either Connie and then Tom and or vice versa, if at the beginning of the meeting, if either are present, so in the absence of one, the other would do it.
I think that's fine, I'm happy to jump in
Given
anytime.
seniority.
I can be like the, like whatever the term
Ex
is for,
officio.
the,
Ex officio.
the,
No.
you know, the past
Past,
chair,
yeah.
which they can step in as needed, so.
Okay, so are we gonna postpone selecting a vice chair or just go with what you just said?
If the remaining trustees are comfortable with it, of having fluid, so in case of absences, given that Connie was just chair, I would recommend that she fill in my absence and in her absence that Tom, given his extensive experience with trustees, that he would step up. And in the instance that they are both absent and I'm absent, we wouldn't have a quorum.
Yeah.
So Connie will serve as vice chair, so we don't have to vote on that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sound good?
Yeah, that works for me.
So continuing with our agenda, if everyone is comfortable with waiting, we can move on from library director's report to approval of minutes in case Chris shows up. Anticipating her and then we'll revisit. Okay. The first minutes from April 29th, 2025 were a policy virtual meeting. Did everybody have a chance? Maria, I understand that you're,
Yeah.
so you can abstain, please. But the remaining trustees have a chance to review. Any discussion on those? Motion to accept?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right, so you made the.
Chris made the
approve.
motion.
Okay,
Connie
thank you.
seconded. All in favor? 4-0-0.
Well, wait, you're abstaining, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah, 4-0-1.
4-0.
Sorry. Alright, June 5th, 2025 minutes were our last trustee minutes. Board have any discussion on those minutes? Any corrections?
I think just Corey.
The what?
Krista, Corey. On page, I'm not paginating on this.
Oh, so
But
what-
Corey, C-O-R-I.
Oh, I spelled it wrong?
Did you? Corey, Q-U-A-R-R-Y.
No, C-O-R-Y.
Oh,
What is it under?
So it's C-O-R-Y.
It's on the last page.
It's
Okay,
under-
sorry.
First paragraph on the last page,
Update.
so.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
Oh, I
phonetic.
see, okay, sorry about that, thank you. So it's C-O-R-I.
Hi, yeah.
Okay, all right. So that's been corrected. And I had been posting the minutes on the town website. I have access to that like tiny part for the trustees, but I don't have it right now, so I was gonna check with Mel about whether she wants me to send them to her or whether she wants to, give me access to it.
Chris,
Sorry for being late.
You're welcome.
Did you already have them in there?
Oh,
Yes,
excellent.
I stopped by and grabbed the choice.
Thank you so much. Congratulations, by the way.
Do we have further discussion on the June 5th minutes? Are we
Move to
happy to
approve.
move to approve?
second.
All in favor? So 4-0.
So do I need to note as corrected or something?
No, that's correct. The June 17th, 2025 minutes were our scheduled policy minutes. And those, otherwise I did not have any edits to those. Motion to approve? Yes. Miller, second.
Second.
And then motion to, second and then
Second.
approve 401.
Can I just say, this seems like a lot of meetings, and we have been having extra meetings to work on, reviewing our policies. Like, the library had some policies, but we've been working to try to make sure we have like a more comprehensive list, and also, making sure they're up to date. So these extra meetings are extra, like, I don't think we're gonna have to continue having them, we probably will for the next few months, but maybe we'll be done by after a few months. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but it just normally we only meet once a month, but we decided to meet separately just to talk about the policies, so the regular meeting didn't get extended. Yeah.
I'm gonna make a motion that we pause the agenda to include Chris B in a photo for the scholarship acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we redo that.
So we will redo the picture now that that's here. It's,
Oh,
yeah, it's very fancy, amazing.
Don't take a picture.
I'll take a picture and I'll post it on Facebook
Cool.
and Instagram.
Excellent. Thank you.
You can do it after while you guys.
Cool.
Well, would we like to do that?
Yeah, and then
he's
Izzy, you
free.
can.
Okay, she-
And then
break,
she,
'cause
yeah.
the next step is not. Perfect. All right. So, sorry, Bridget.
That was dress rehearsal.
That was dress rehearsal.
Film.
Back corner there and back wall there, and then we'll take the picture.
I want a step ladder.
Put a step ladder.
Yes.
Here's that. All right. All right.
We have to squeeze in, right?
Everybody squeeze in like we like each other. That we're all supportive of each other. All right. 1, 2, 3. Books. Perfect. Thank you guys. I will post that on
Thank
all
you.
the social media.
They apologize for being late.
It's your son's birthday. You were allowed to.
Happy birthday.
25 years old, so.
You're using me.
Funny when that happens.
I know, turn around and.
You're very welcome.
Congratulations.
Thank you. See you Friday.
Bye.
See you Monday.
So we've gone through, up to approval of minutes, having paused the library director's report. If you're ready, Chris B, would you like to go over the library director's report?
Sure. Just so you know, I'll need your email address so that I can, one, send you this when it's done, I try to get it ahead of time. And two, when they have policy meetings, if you wanna be a part of that, I have to send an invite to you for the Teams meeting, cause they tend to do it remotely.
Okay.
Okay. We can deal with that afterwards. Alright, and I'm Chris, by
Hi,
the way.
Chris, Maria.
Pleased to meet you, Maria. I think we've seen each other in the
Yes.
library.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, director's report for June 2025. We had 0 curbside pickups, 323 patrons. We closed out June with the students coming with 6 classes for 7 visits and 151 students.
May I pause?
Yeah.
May,
Do I have the right report?
did I send the wrong one?
Oh, this says August
2024, did I put the wrong one in? Let me just see.
Did I really send the wrong email to you?
Let me just take a look, maybe that could be
I didn't
operator
even
error on
look.
me, so that,
It was in the email here.
How did I grab the wrong one? That's so weird.
Hold on.
No, that was June 2025. That's what we're looking at, right?
Yeah, I can link it here
Okay,
if you
Kenny,
want.
I'm sorry about that. I
That's okay.
must have, I don't know what I did, so.
So I'm going to listen intently, not
Well,
looking at
if
what
you
I
want,
printed.
I can,
And we will,
I can give this over to you, cause I have it on my Google Drive.
I can listen.
Okay. Alright. Story time, we had 64 adult attendees, 102 children attendees, for a total amount of 166 attendees. We had 6 events of, story time events in June. Dungeons and Dragons, we had 2 events, 10 attendees. Well, we did have 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
With one,
We
yeah.
just had one, that just had one,
Yeah.
Emerson.
Yep.
Emerson.
Our volunteers, we had a total of 4 with 9 visits and a total of 22 hours for the month. This includes 1 senior for the town's work-off program. The Not Just Knitting program had 1 event with 3 attendees. Senior Book Club had 3 attendees. The, I don't know what you wanna call it, the Grown-Up Book Club, which is not seniors, it has 13 attendees. The Boy Scouts had 1 visit with 13 attendees. Other meetings, we had 1 event with 2 attendees. We had 5 new cards, no e-cards were issued. For Facebook and Instagram totals, we had Facebook page reach was 2,761. Facebook total page likes was 919. Page followers was 1,067. Facebook page visits was 562. For Instagram, page reach was 28. Instagram followers was 198, with 3 profile visits for Instagram. Most popular Facebook posts, number 1, Bouncy House is up with 1,497, and number 2, Ready for Takeoff with 969. We had a total of 48 Wi-Fi connections, and for website visits in June, we had 398. For the library numbers, Hubbardston items circulated regardless of location was 1,121. All items circulated at Hubbardston regardless of ownership was 1,269. We had 217 requested holds. Number of patrons registered at Hubbardston is 1,464. Total number of items that are on the shelf is 11,419. For Overdrive, we had a monthly checkouts of 779. Holds on Overdrive, we had 141 holds of e-audio. E-books, we had 231 holds for a total of 372. The library was closed on Thursday, June 19th for the Juneteenth holiday. The Senior Book Club met on Wednesday, June 25th, and discussed The Stars Are Fire by Anita Shreve. The next Senior Book Club meeting will be held on July 23rd at 11 a.m. at the Senior Center in the Slade Building at 7 Main Street, where they will discuss The Rosie Project by Graham Simpson. On June 10th, I attended the CWMR's User Council meeting via Zoom. One item discussed was the anticipated changes to the state budget for the FY26 due to the dismantling of the IMLS. CWMRs is expecting a $232,000 shortfall for FY26. The Users Council meeting voted in favor of addressing the shortfall with funds from the CWMR's reserves and the overdrive budget. It is anticipated that the FY27 budget will be worse, which will negatively impact us. For example, in FY25, we paid CWMRs $2,541 for our annual membership cost. If we lose the discounts we get, which consists of the line cost discount of $509, the small library in network grant provided by the MBLC of $2,500, and the cap adjustment of $928, our costs in FY27 will exceed $6,478. Our service line has been level funded at $19,510 for the last 4 years. In addition, the trustees may want to consider a policy regarding patrons from out-of-state or non-state certified libraries and how they can utilize the Hubbardston Public Library. Most libraries who are certified by the MBLC agree to offer reciprocity lending to other state certified libraries in the state. When a library loses state certification, most other libraries will not lend to the residents of those municipalities. Some libraries have instituted an annual fee for out-of-state residents and residents of non-certified cities and towns. The June display in the adult and children's reading room celebrated LBGTQIA+ Pride Month. The July displays for both the adult reading room and the children's reading room supports our summer reading program, Blast Off into Reading with Books About Space. Respectfully submitted by Christine Barbera. And in addition, I have the most up-to-date financials, which was as ending balance of May 31st, 2025. I expect to have the year-end numbers from our new accountant within the next couple of weeks. So I'll know what it is for next year. And then the last page of the report was all of the website pages that were visited in the past month, with the top 5 being the main page, the road race, museum passes, our event calendar, and hours and directions.
And I also just note on the agenda, it's also the August 2024 website data.
Yeah,
That used to be.
I have a question, what is IMLS?
IMLS is the Institute of Museum and Library Services. It was a federally funded program that was discontinued by an executive order earlier this year. So what that would do is they would send federal funds out to states to help fund museums and libraries, to help offset certain costs. Because of that, they're not, the MBLC, which is the new Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners, is being proactive. They are expecting to not get any more funds, so they are trying to make changes to what they're doing. But, you know, they've already laid off some people, and they've also, before I finished this, and then I found out that there are a number of databases that they used to pay for that would give everybody state access to, that they cut those cut them by 50%. So people who, like students who want to do research on a Gale database, they may not have access to the one that they had last year.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chris, can I ask a quick question? You say the Users Council meeting voted in favor of addressing the shortfall with funds from CWMR's reserves
Yep.
and the overdrive budget.
Yes.
Now, does that mean, is overdrive Libby?
Yes.
Does that mean
So what
cuts
that
to Libby are
what
happening,
that
or
could
does that mean-
conceivably affect everybody with is that as of right now, Overdrive had what is called a contract with the state that helped discount purchases from the Massachusetts Higher Education Collaborative, or the MHEC. They have been negotiating and they haven't come to a resolution yet. So in addition to monies that they would normally have used for purchasing overdrive things, it's even more expensive now. For example, an audiobook for us to purchase for a license for 1 year for Libby was around $65. Now it's running around $70 to $85 because there's no discount involved. And their reasoning is, since the costs are so much higher now, that they're going to not utilize as much of the budget for overdrive for Libby, because if we can't afford to stay with CWMRs because our cost would go, pretty much double, that it would be more cost effective for us to have more physical items and to be able to interact with all the different libraries.
Okay,
Does that
So-
answer the question?
I think so.
Okay.
So it'll affect how many audiobooks we can buy, because each one would be more expensive?
Yes and no. Yes. Yeah, actually yes overall, because there are 2 ways to buy something via Overdrive. There is the consortia, CWMRs, has a pool, and they purchase a certain number of Overdrive.
Oh, and then we can access
And
it.
then we can access them. In addition, we are also an Overdrive Advantage member as the Hubbardston Public Library, so I can order a certain number of books in audiobooks through Libby, which go to our patrons first. Whereas everybody else, they can access them in line, but it's like when we buy new items at the library, I put the little blue dot and they're on the new ones. There's a window in the CW Mars program that gives us a 6-week window where it stays on our shelf. And then after that 6-week thing is over, it goes out to fulfill other holds, but people in town get first dibs.
So MBLC will be also ordering less audio.
Yes.
Ebooks and audio.
Yep. Okay. But on the flip side, you can also, using Libby, which is what we're really going out into a rabbit hole now, and I'm very sorry. We don't have just access to CW Mars. You can request your card to be on any of the other consortias like Clam, Sales, Noble, Minuteman, and if you're a resident of Massachusetts, you can get a Boston Public Library e-card, which gives you access to all of their collection because they're considered the state library. So I mean, there are still options available. It's just going to be might be a little bit longer to wait for your book.
Can I ask a question too? So, you also mentioned about that we should maybe think about putting in our policy something about borrowing privileges for people who are not part of CW Mars. I mean, I don't think we really addressed
Actually,
that.
it wouldn't be CW Mars. There's a lot of initialisms here, and I'm really
Yeah.
sorry about that. So MBLC handles the overarching state, and so every library in Massachusetts, and they have certain requirements to be state certified. And because budgets are getting tight, there may be some libraries in cities that will not be able to qualify for state certification this year, which makes them non-certified.
So not just CW Mars.
Not just CW Mars. So what could happen is these patrons could go to libraries that are state certified, and they can go in, they can spend their entire day there, they can read all they want in the library, but they can't check anything out. Unless the library has a policy of how they are going to deal with state non-certified patrons from non-certified towns or out of state. The border towns for like New Hampshire, Vermont, in that area, they tend to have a policy for out-of-state residents, and usually what they do is they charge them a flat fee every year, like anywhere from $25 to $35 to access their collection. I don't know how many libraries are gonna lose state certification this year, but it's definitely, they've had a number of meetings with a number of different libraries, discussing budgets and trying, what they can do and, how close they can be. So.
Okay, I don't think we addressed that in the policy.
It is not
correctly,
currently
so-
addressed in our policy,
yeah.
so having taken that from the director's report, something that subcommittee will want.
Was that just based on paying your dues, or are there other factors?
For being in state certification, I think there's up to 8 things that you have to do. Some are really simple. You borrow, you lend without charging your residents, which we do. The biggest one is what's called a total appropriated municipal income. And what that is basically, what's the line item that the town says, this is how much we're giving the library. And the state says, they have a formula, and they add up the last 3 years, divide it by a certain percentage, and it ends up being about 2% over more than what you've had. And as long as you meet that number, you're fine. It's when the budget in the city or the town is really strapped, which is pretty, it's certainly happening, and they can't give you that amount, you'll either lose your certification because you're not meeting what the MBLC expects you to be, the town to be giving the library, or if your budget gets cut in proportion to every other department except the school department, the same amount, then they will give you what's called a waiver. But here's the cool, it's never that easy, because the MBLC will still take when they calculate the next year, they'll still take the higher of those two numbers. So whatever your budget should have been according to the MBLC, that's what the number they're gonna use, not the number that the town budgeted you at. So you have to bounce yourself back up again even
Yeah.
higher,
So if you get through the first year, you won't make it through the second year.
unless you
Most
gotta.
likely, if you don't
I
go
mean,
back up.
sometimes what happens is sometimes they have debt that, they just can't, they have to pay it off and, it's like a one-time thing. And then the next year they're like, okay, we'll have enough funds for this and get you back up again. They'll give you up to 5 years of that, but again, each year you're just digging yourself deeper and deeper if you can't get up to that total appropriated municipal income.
So it
it's
happened in Hubbardston.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I couldn't go to Gardner and get a book.
Mm.
Like, I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
And it was just because the treasurer was stealing.
The,
You know?
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know about that.
It had nothing to do with receipts.
it was that was interesting. I will say though that my predecessor and the board at the time worked hand in hand with the MBLC, and usually what happens is if you lose state certification, it takes a minimum of 2 years for you to get it back, but they work to keep all of the other things up and running,
Yeah.
and the MBLC appreciated the work that they did and that the town tried to do to keep us going. So we got our certification back within 6 months of not losing it, but getting back up to speed. So the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and
Yeah. They appreciate the effort.
they do,
Yes.
absolutely.
Thank you, Chris.
You are very welcome. I'm sorry it was so ridiculous
No,
and
these
detailed,
are important
but,
issues, really. Can I just, I'm showing Maria these funds, so we're not gonna talk about this tonight, but, Chris reports on the funds she gets from the town and also from the state, this MBLC money that she was just talking about, and then we also have some trust funds, like somebody a while ago donated some money to the library, so we have these trust funds,
Okay.
which is probably gonna be a good thing because we might be able to use some of it for the renovations. So anyway, you'll get this,
Okay.
and we do look at it every month. And also the construction things are down at the bottom, so we'll be talking about that.
I was an accountant, so.
Good, that's great. Maybe we should have a treasurer.
One part I can pick up kind of quickly.
Okay, sorry, I just wanted to show her that.
Ready to move on to Friends of the Library update? Chris?
Yeah, there is no update. It's gone kind of quiet, so, I don't mind reaching back out to, Whitney and Donna to kind of see where we're at on it. I think also this might be an opportunity to bring in Alicia, because I think she was interested in kind of, that maybe she can help kind of bring the Friends along. We're trying to reestablish the Friends group, so that they can serve as a fundraising arm for the library as well. So we had a meeting back in like January, where we had a lot of people interested, but there's the hard work of actually getting reestablished, of like doing like 501c3 and stuff like that. Having said you're an accountant, now I'm very interested. You know, but I don't mind reaching out to them and kind of figure out where they're at on it, so.
That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we can't be part of the Friends directly, it has to be like a separate organization.
Okay.
So we're helping it get started, but we can't be, we can't be doing that, it's like a separate group.
Incorrect, we can be a member, but
Right.
we can't serve on their board.
Sorry, that's what it
And-
is.
Yeah. Connie, would you like to lead us in the review of the historical architectural assessment?
Yeah, so Wendy submitted the final report, for her assessment of the building. So what we had asked her to do was, because we're on the historical registry, when we make changes to the library, renovation changes, there are some things we need to take into consideration. And we just asked her to just do a thorough, like, review of the building, kind of identifying what she considers to be historical and things we might wanna keep intact, right? Or things we might wanna just be aware of. So her report came, she sent us a report, the final report I think I got on Monday. And so, there's a bunch of files in here, there's only should be 3 documents, I don't know what I was doing, I think I just copied multiple things. But, you know, I think when we look through this report and think about it, it's important to think about the idea that she's completely coming from a historical preservation perspective. And so when she's saying that maybe you shouldn't take down this wall, or you shouldn't get rid of, you know, keep this, you know, she's doing it from that perspective. It doesn't necessarily mean that everything she says is what we have to do. She's coming from a very specific lens. So I thought her report was helpful in identifying like what we should maybe just keep in mind when we're working through renovations. One of the things she did suggest was we might want to get a second opinion on the flooring in the library, on the basement level, because
Ground floor.
The ground floor,
Ground
we
floor,
decided we
yes,
can't
ground
call it the basement
Like
anymore.
the ground.
In the report, it's referred to as basement.
Because that's what she asked for the library plans, and boy oh boy did I have fun finding those in the mezzanine, unbeknownst to me. And it's labeled in all the plans, basement, and it was, I don't like that term, ground floor.
So,
Scribble it out. Ground floor.
the ground floor of the library has what we believe to be original hardwoods, but they are damaged, right? And some of the contractors thought they might not be able to be repaired. She is suggesting we get a second opinion on that, because she thought there might be a chance that we could. I asked her if she knew of any flooring people that could maybe help us, and she said she put feelers out, she didn't really get any feedback, but she said any good general contractor who knows about floors, and so, and I think the person you talk to knows about floors too, so, it's, you know,
But they're
just,
the ones recommending.
but they're the ones
Yeah,
recommending
the
that, you know,
vinyl.
I think she also recommended that if the floors could not be repaired, she is recommending putting carpet down as opposed to linoleum or flooring, because of concerns about, you know, like maybe they could be restored or something like that in the future.
Yeah.
There's issues with that, putting down carpeting versus having flooring and, you know, all that. So I'm gonna preface that by saying, you know, she's coming at it from a very historical preservation. We have to find the balance between historically preserving the building, because we are on the National Registry, so we have some restrictions on us, but also understanding that the library's kind of moving, you know, into a new direction, and so finding that balance between the two. So I don't know if y'all had a chance to read through the report.
There's
So
some
cool.
things
One
that
of
I
my-
never noticed, these.
Yeah.
So one of my questions was on the deed date, was October 1st of 1884.
Mm-hmm.
That's the date.
That's the date someone decided to sit down and write it. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
So I just want to double check the date.
So the deed I pulled for National Grid when we had the whole fun debacle
Yeah.
about the pole,
Yeah.
that I swear has given me post-traumatic stress disorder. That is the date on the deed. But I talked to my friend at the registry office because I thought that we could get a really nice framed copy of the original for the library. She has to put on the fancy white gloves to go get it. She said that when you get a deed that age, it's most likely that that is the time that someone could travel down to Worcester and they did it in the office. Doesn't necessarily mean that land wasn't already deeded, but that's the date that someone made the journey to the registry office to register the deed to the library. There
So
might be
either-
an even older deed out there,
But
but it probably was in Mr. Clark's house at one point and hasn't seen the light of day since. But she's actually gonna look into it for us to see if maybe it slipped through the cracks somehow in
So
the
this is
registry
the
office.
Worcester clerk?
The Worcester County Register of Deeds.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's fun to have people in fun places. She also advised me to maybe go look in the records of the Antiqual Society in Worcester as well. They may have some more findings.
Similar to her first report, I will say it was pleasant to read, very thorough, and I love the accompanying photos, and it was nice to have somebody familiar with the library, and I like the report, so.
I appreciated that, you know, she talked about like preferable preserved features and then identifying what they were and then talking about what her recommendations were, you know, for moving forward. And then she also gave some comments on the contractor's estimates, which is one of the things was like to go back and maybe get a second quote on, or get someone else, have someone take a look at the, you know, the flooring, a second one.
There were also 4 main bullet points that she pulled from the Massachusetts Historical Commission to keep in mind for all future, so that should be like forefront for any of our future projects with regards to the painting, the windows, openings,
Yes.
New openings and wires and stuff like
Yes,
that.
exactly. So, and Chris, have we talked to the Massachusetts Preservation Committee about any of the renovations we're doing?
No, because I don't have any
Plans?
plans, so
Yeah.
I mean, I can say, oh, we're gonna be doing this, and they can say, oh, well, you need to do that, and,
Okay. So we probably need to get plans and then be able to check in with them.
or at least a quotes or something that I can send to them to say, hey, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Because the one bullet point that stood out to me, and I think to your point, is creating new openings in walls, demolishing existing walls, removing or altering important stylistic features, you know. Seems like that could be, if we're thinking about taking out that one wall, I think that's something we probably need to talk to them about and make sure they're okay with it.
She did say something about like preserving the door, even if you don't, like there, I think it's a closet or something that she showed, so, you know, like maybe they could be moved somewhere else
Oh,
or.
it's the doors to
Put in this-
in between the town clerks, so the old land use office. I was talking to a lifelong resident who that came into the office the other day, and she was telling me that her grandfather helped build some of the walls in the basement of the library, and that they repurposed those doors from somewhere else in the library, and I was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I know what doors they're talking about. They have these beautiful ornate handles on them, and even like the hinges on the door are extremely ornate. So, I just like all the mini closets.
But they came from somewhere else?
That's the story, is that they were repurposed from somewhere else, extra building material, and said, kind of like the community says, hey, if this is free, do you want it for the library? Yeah, of course. So,
And also just to let you know, we got some bids for redoing part of the downstairs, and maybe we can go on a tour, maybe at our next meeting or something of the downstairs area, so you can, you know, see it, but we got some bids to try to fix up where the town clerk's office was, to make it like a room for the story time, basically, another programming, like just to kind of focus on that first, so we did get some funds from the, what is it
CPC.
called, the community preservation, and we got some bids for that, so that's what Connie was talking about, and then we got this study to make sure we know what to keep in mind, yeah, so we've made a lot of progress, but we haven't really actually started, because the money just became available.
Right. I went to town meeting.
Okay, good, thank you for voting, I'm assuming you voted for it.
She also recommended, and this isn't here, but like painting the splits so that they match. So right now they're white, and so like in the room like where it's pink, like you know, pink, you know, so that everything kind of blends in, so that it's not as obvious. So
they make cute covers for them. Just, so,
Well, Pierce said that you can paint them.
you can paint them?
Yep.
Okay, well then we're painting them. So. Maybe we'll put fun murals on them and really make them stand out.
And I talked to Chris about this, because we have them at my house, and because you can, you know, adjust them separately, you know, and program them, and, you know, Chris is learning how to do that, but like when we went downstairs, it was like set really low, and nobody's using that space, and upstairs, they're not using it all the time, and so it's gonna take a little bit of time to figure out how much it's gonna cost and all, but we definitely want them, but we definitely don't wanna waste money on them.
right.
Alright, so they came in, they gave me new remotes for all of the
Great.
not for every single one, but I think I have like 5 new remotes and 1 older remote. And what they recommended is that they should all be in the same mode. So you don't want one being on cool, the other one being on heat, the other one being on dry, because that messes up the big condenser that's outside. So I sent out an email to Tricia, Ann, and Joyce up in the Historical Society, recommending that the mode has to stay the same. We're gonna all be on cool, but the temperature and the fan speeds, those you can change without having any issue. He also gave me some suggestions on how to make sure that we don't mess up our big outdoor thing in the wintertime, and to keep an eye on the condensate reservoir for the water. So we should be okay. And I should clean it every 6 months for the filters, which I gotta get a ladder now. And they recommend cleaning it on an annual basis, but he doesn't recommend cleaning it until the fall of 2026, because we don't have a lot of dust. That may change because of the work down in the basement, so I'll check the filters more frequently, but up in the, no, I would prefer to do it myself. So yeah, it's,
To work in
I'm
progress.
feeling, no, I feel like we're comfortable. I tried to set all the temps at 75. The Historical Society was out at 76, so. And the downstairs are all set at 75. I think it's just that it's cooler down there.
Yeah.
You know, that's why it's at 72.
Because it's the ground floor.
It is the, I'm sorry, you're right,
That's right.
it is the ground floor.
Thank you.
My bad.
Usually cooler.
She's
The
gonna
rem-
she's
yeah.
gonna get like a little
Yeah.
pool noodle and whack me with it.
The remotes are not accessible to general public though, are they?
They're kind of like the one in the children's room is kind of hidden. So I mean, yes, it's
So-
there, but they know not to.
I was going to say another consideration is to put them like behind the checkout,
Just
or even
label
with the
them.
library director, because once they're set, it should be very minimal.
They're universal, so that they'll
Yes,
work on
you
all
take
of-
one.
You can take one and just go throughout the entire building. There'll be one at the front desk, there's one in the children's room. The Historical Society will collect theirs the next time they visit, and since they're just the ones that are doing it, I don't have an issue with them having their own. And then there'll be 2 downstairs, one will be in the renovated director's office, and the other one will be in the programming area that needs to be renovated.
All right.
And then there's gonna be an additional one in my office, just in case.
And they can be programmed too, once we get a handle on them, right? Like they can be programmed to.
Clarify.
Well, like.
So let me ask you, because
Okay.
you're saying they can be programmed, is they the units,
Yeah.
or is they the remote?
Well, using the remote, you can program the unit to say, start cooling a little more before we open, and
I
then.
have to actually open up the manual,
No,
because
I
they
know.
don't come with an instruction manual, they come with a QR code, so you can download the
Yeah.
manual.
Well, the people should have some information for that, but I know
Yeah,
you
but-
could, like, we're not open some days, for example, so we don't need, maybe we don't need maximum cooling on, days we're not open.
Well, I will say that they did originally set them at 68, which we were like, yeah, no, that ain't happening.
No, we're cold people. We don't
No,
like
so
the cold.
75 seems
Yeah.
to be a comfortable. And honestly, I'm not sure, I mean, cause I had the old boiler at the same temperature all the time,
Mhm.
because you really couldn't let the
Right.
temperature fluctuate.
Right.
And I'm not saying that that's gonna happen with these, I just don't know.
Right.
But do we really wanna have it be at 75 and then go up to 80 one day and then have to come back down to 75 again for Saturday for 3 hours and then go back up to 80?
Well, we have to figure it out, but
We do have to figure
if
it
it turns
out.
out it's expensive, then maybe we do wanna do it, maybe we don't. But, some days are just hotter than others. But the really good thing is that they also dehumidify, so it's certainly noticeable when you walk in, so it
Yep.
doesn't have to be as cold as it might otherwise have to be, because it gets rid of the humidity, which
Right.
makes it feel more comfortable.
I have
so
to say
that's
on
good.
Wednesday, I picked the hottest day of the dang year to do summer reading kickoff.
Uh-huh.
Walking that's when we didn't have the remote, so they were just set to 68. It was, all the parents were like, oh my god, we were so worried because it's been so hot and hot and sticky in the library, we've got a couple more people. And they walked in, they're like, oh my god, it's so cool in here, we're just gonna hang out. And I was like, that's fine, hang out for as long as you want.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all your extra effort in getting that set up. It's really great to have it.
I think the guy at Pierce is terrified of him.
Which one?
All right. So keeping in mind and trying to keep timely, review of scholarship process. I did receive a few recommendations and suggestions, so opening that up to discussion if there are additional ones. But running down from notes and from emails that I received, one of the suggestions I put my own at the top. When we started scholarship, Tom and I had formed a subcommittee, and I would propose that a subcommittee is reformed that would take point on the scholarships for announcements, for publicity of it, for troubleshooting. So in the past, the Google form has been the same as the written form, and they really should be identical. And any other troubleshooting that might come up. I would likewise like to suggest that the subcommittee would do an initial review of all applications to make sure that all are received, and then prepare the rubric and the applications for review. Additional suggestions were to have one single format application came in, that the online application should be equivalent to paper, of which previously they should be, and they had been. Notably in 2025, this year's, they were not identical. There was a suggestion to make a downloadable PDF with expandable fill-in sections. So rather than using a Google, perhaps using a PDF form. So, suggestion of finding out different formats. Someone was concerned that people would need a Gmail account in order to access it, but you shouldn't need a Gmail account to access a Google form. That's not necessary. So I don't know if the PDF, it seemed like two issues being put into one. Suggestion with regards to evaluation of the rubric, that it should include musts, such as the requirement of the application to be in a Hubbardston resident that was received by the due date, and then have weighted items. So my question on that was that the rubric does currently have organization completeness of application, and we do currently, as of the 2025 and 2024 prior, we had a weighted scale of 5.30 suggestion. Prior to that, there were weighted scales of like 10.73. So there was a weighted, and it is included. So I'm trying to get more clarification if whomever, that was a no, if anybody can expand on what they're looking for in the rubric that's not there.
I think maybe they're talking about it in some of the categories. Some should be weighted more. So like, is the essay, should that be like a 10.73, and then like completeness be like a 5.30? Like, are there certain aspects of the rubric that we think are more important? I'm guessing that's what they were meaning by that.
So one of the things that I've seen over the years that we've done the rubric is we had people doing like an ABC system. We had people doing a 1 to 100 scale. We had a 1 to 10 scale for a while. Then we tried to do the 0, 5, and 3 were to try to address, there wasn't enough separating applications. They were too close in score to really make a difference. And it didn't seem to make a difference what our scoring system on the rubric was, because trustees would come up with their own scoring system regardless of what the rubric has. And so in my opinion, as long as trustee A has a consistent manner in how they are grading the applications, it doesn't matter if another trustee has a different scale. So if one has a 1 to 100 and the other has a 1 to 10, as long as they are consistent across how they grade, ultimately the scores for each application would reflect that. Does that make sense? So I don't even, in my experience of having done reviews of our scholarships, it doesn't matter kind of what rubric scoring we have. We seem to have gone off of it, and it doesn't at the end of the day matter. So it's like the whose line is it anyways? There's a score and it doesn't seem to matter. So
That's
I'm not as worried about that.
Well, I kinda agree with what Connie just said. I think part of the issue was that we could consider making the essay, for example, worth more than the fact that they completed the application, you know? So I think that would help to distinguish because, you know, following the rubric the way it was, whatever scale you're using, it was kinda hard to distinguish when they did turn in, you know, they did turn in all the things. So I think just making that kind of tweak might help with that. I don't know.
So a note on these years, all the applicants were submitted on time. It was a matter of our having received
Yeah.
and when we had the deadline versus our first meeting. So a consideration of taking, for instance, that personal essay and making that worth more like a graded grade, we can do, and I'm happy to have, if it's myself and somebody else, subcommittee, evaluate that. But I would likewise say that in the past, it hasn't mattered as much. So some people felt like the personal library use statement for them mattered more than the essay. So at the end of the day, my argument would still be, so if trustee B felt personal use statement stood out for candidate A, in their scoring, it's going to reflect that. And if they want to weigh it more, and if that's at the end of the day what broke it for them, then I would advocate for that. So that's something that I think should be in a so part of thinking of timeliness and why I think there should be a reformation of the scholarship is to take the suggestions, to reformat the rubric, look at the application, consider the PDF form, consider the Google form, consider these items and see if they can come up with a better system. Scoring criteria should be made public, which I agree with. I even feel like the blank rubric could be made public. I'm perfectly fine with that. But then argument with regards to, I do not feel like the scoring sheet that trustees make, that should be kept to the trustees.
What did you say, Maura?
So the scoring sheet that individual trustees score on
Yeah.
can be kept private.
Yes.
Our ultimate decision in
I
minutes are
agree.
going to be made public though. So a matter of what is released for public. There was a note of making sure that the number and the dollar amount for any upcoming announcement scholarship is announced, but it is currently announced, and we have had that, so it's in the application, so that was a suggestion, but it's been there, and we've had it. I would reiterate that currently the application, the advertisement has been that we will award up to 2 scholarships in the amount of $500, as long as we get applications.
We got a lot of applications this year. I don't know a lot, but more than we have been.
This is not a suggestion, but a question that came from a trustee is, do the filled in rubrics become part of public record, or remain private? And those have remained private. It's just the results of our voting that become public. For
I
announcements.
think,
Yeah,
you know, I don't know if someone could request it.
yeah. So,
I mean, I think if it was something you have in the meeting, I think it's something that could be requested,
yeah.
but we just need to see clarification on that.
Yeah, you should just follow past practice. When you make a change, then that's when you get in trouble.
But like if we have, like let's say we have 5 people and we each scored them and then we discuss that, we don't have to make the score sheet public. That's what I think that's what.
Yeah,
I would agree
because,
with that,
yeah.
Cause the discussion was on the meeting, open meeting.
Again, the only thing I'm just unclear of is when it comes to record requests, I I think anything that's discussed at a meeting could be requested by somebody. I that's not where I think we just need to get clarification from, but I just know like anything we have, they could ask a question about and ask for it, I thought.
As far as I know, I don't know that we formed the scholarship subcommittee, so it had been Tom and myself, and without Tom here, I don't wanna make a decision otherwise. But subcommittees can be up to 3 people, so I'm happy to table a decision, but I would suggest that we discuss at a further meeting date, revising, seeing who would like to be part of the subcommittee policy, and if that's approach that the trustees would like to take, and that they can kind of delve on this through the fall. We had discussed at our March meeting reviewing the timeline, and we played with the timeline this year of having made the announcement in March, having the deadline at the end of the April. The very next day was our trustee meeting where we started to review, but then it necessitated a follow-up review meeting. And then we made notifications and we did the first of awards tonight. There is a second applicant that's being awarded a scholarship, but they were unavailable to attend this evening. In future years, it had been recommended that we start announcements as early as like January. Pushing up the deadline so it's like deadline in March. A consideration that may come in then is alterations to the application because a decision day for most colleges is not until May 1st. So their decision of where they're going or what they're doing, or even if they've been accepted, is not necessarily being made yet. So those are all considerations. So rather than taking time this evening for it, that's where I felt like the best use of trustees was to discuss that we find a smaller group of trustees to kind of delve into these, and that we can direct our thoughts to those trustees, and that they can come back with their suggestions and we can more efficiently say yay, nay, etc. What are your thoughts?
Do you wanna stay on the subcommittee, or are you?
I am open to it. I'm also open to like, hey, if there are 3 people that say, I really wanna do it, I think it'd be really awesome for 2 or 3 trustees to take on. And as far as I know, it is Tom and I until it's edited. And I don't wanna speak for Tom in his absence.
So that revision would take place before the first of the year.
Yes.
It's
And I
a
would,
fall project.
exactly,
Yeah.
I think it's a fall project. So I also know, so Quabbin has an awards date,
Yes.
but then they also have an awards night in May. And so in the past, they pushed out requesting notification of awards very early. They're the earliest school. Parker, Sizer, Monty will all accept them in May, whereas Quabbin, I have to look, but I think they want them in February.
They do. They contacted me in February and I was like, Country Hen hasn't even gone out.
But at the same time, Quabbin's award night is usually beginning of June versus the other schools have been in May. So I'm not sure, and I have her word, but I haven't worked directly. In the past also, our awards, we hand out our awards. Would we want to change it to where the awards go to the school and are handed out at the school?
So I had a thought this year, and here's one of those crazy harebrained ideas, is instead of, we usually hand them out at the meetings, but we have several local scholarships, right? We have the Country Hen, we have the library, we have the Cash Scholarship, the Lions Scholarship. We have that. So you could do the school. You could do the school where we hand out their certificate and then wait to hand out the check or whatever at the meeting or whatever. Or we could just do a local scholarship night here in Hubbardston where all of the scholarship committees from all the different walks of life here come together and do a scholarship award night for our award members.
Would that be at the select board or something? Cause I
Not
think
at
that's
the
what they do now.
So they do just the Country Hen at select board. They don't do the other ones. But we have a church now. We have a space.
We have a first meeting house.
We have a first meeting house. We have a first meeting house that's not done yet. Working on it. First meeting house. We also have the lovely pavilion, the Lions Pavilion at the rec field. Like, we have spaces in town where we could do something like that. We could do, I mean, town meeting is always kind of iffy, but maybe we open town meeting with the scholarship award. Like, there are options that we could do. Also, that would probably push the younger generations to come to town meeting, which might be fun. But those are ideas that I had, so that if you guys wanted to, maybe you could hand out a certificate at the awards night at the schools, and then hold on to the checks for your meeting, or you could do, or we could do a Hubbardston award night where it's all the local scholarships. So, and hand out their
Is there-
certificates and wait to hand out the checks at the meeting. So
Is
it's-
there a general idea of when other scholarships award night community might
So
take place?
we just handed out the Country Hen Scholarship. I was a little behind the eight ball as the executive assistant with the Country Hen Scholarship. I will be the first to admit it. It just was one of those things where I was like, oh, it's time, okay. But it's all around the same time. I mean, we all award pretty close together. So, you know, if some adjustments have to be made for other, like, it would be good to get maybe some of the other members of the other scholarship committees together to talk about it all together in a meeting.
I know
about-
Tom was really in favor of that.
Yeah. I'd be in favor of that. I honestly would prefer keeping it in the community. Versus, I also think that it would be beneficial if we know and we've made a decision by beginning of May. Most graduating classes are not out by May 1st unless you're homeschooled or otherwise. That we would still have time if we made our decision by May and we're sending out notifications, that we could notify schools and they could have a certificate or make an announcement of their choosing at their own awards night.
They don't put them in the graduation programs anymore, what scholarships they've been awarded.
A lot of it is now separate award nights.
Oh, okay. I've been out of the game a little bit, so.
Say how long.
If you are thinking of doing a local one, I'd recommend that you start reaching out in like the fall, because you don't wanna start having them doing their process and then throw that on top of them to see if they. Yeah, set up a wider timeline so that they at least have an idea that this is something that you might be interested in.
Heck, you could even, if you were ready, say end of August, just to meet with everybody and kind of talk about it, because everybody just awarded. So I don't know if they take a lull or they get right started on the next year's. Country Hen is not like that. I can admit to that full force, but I don't know the Lions and the cash. So
Any trustees here game for and very interested in the scholarship committee?
I would think.
Chris?
would you like a
I
town
would be
meeting?
too, but if somebody else wants to do it, that's fine, you know.
So, I think it would be okay on a line of, I'm just dancing with 4 people of, if I brought in an email with both of you, including Tom, or I could separately ask Tom about his interest in remaining on the scholarship committee, or if he'd like to rescind, and then see with regards to space. If Tom is interested, I would love to have 3 on it, and I will gladly let the 3 of you take the reins, because I think that would be fresh perspective and phenomenal, and then you guys can take the ball running at your own speed, if you're comfortable with that. And I'm happy to pass those on. Are there further discussion items, any suggestions that I missed that should be brought up to trustees?
How do you feel about consolidating cash and Country Hen?
I personally think it would be phenomenal, because I think it would showcase and bring more people possibly aware of the library. So I personally, anything that can bring the community together. So
I'm
happy to
assuming
do
they
that.
must have a different application for each of these, so
Yeah.
it's a little hard for the applicant too.
To
Jump.
navigate all of the
those
different
But it's always like that.
But it's always like
Yeah,
that.
it is.
I remember, like I say, I've been out of the game a little bit, but I remember with scholarships, especially, it's even with grants, there are 20 different portals
Yeah.
for grants, and it's just
The process is so much easier than it used to be though, compared in applying to college.
Mhm.
Like I remember actually having to pay to apply to colleges. That's not a thing
Right,
anymore.
yeah.
You don't have to pay for the Common App anymore?
Like there's this weird
I
like.
want my money back.
I remember typing.
Exactly, mailing it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm like, I'm not,
Okay.
so this year, there were quite a few that, like, for our scholarship and some of the smaller ones, but schools are very well versed. When I reached out to schools, they're all aware of ours. So whether or not I did hear that Quabbin definitely shares, Monty shares ours, there were no Hubbardston seniors at Parker or Sizer. There is one this coming year, so they made them aware, hey, be on the lookout for this. And there was a question because some scholarships are open to juniors as well as seniors. And actually, so this was from an outside perspective. So there's a lot of gateway dual enrollments with Mount Wachusett and Fitchburg State, and I think even WPI now is eligible for a few, like homeschool students are able to dual enroll. In the instance that somebody is still a high school student, being like a junior, dually enrolled, would we want to consider their application? When I was advised, I was like, I would throw out an application if you think that you might be eligible, because you're enrolling into something, apply. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to be told no. So in that instance, that was my answer, because I, to be quite honest, didn't know, and I had to look at our application, but I was like, I don't see anything that says
Can't.
you can't. In the past, we had wordings saying that to a recent graduate, but we just changed the wording for the 2025, saying anybody enrolling in an undergraduate, master's, graduate level, continuing education or trade school. So we expanded. So we didn't have the wording saying a recent graduate anymore.
That's interesting, because dual enrollment, they don't have to pay, right? So it's already covered for them. So.
But
we
there
have to
are-
know.
I think you do.
But
So
then
it feels
there
like it's
are-
kind of like
But then there are additional
They
things
don't pay-
they
they don't
don't.
pay taxes.
They don't
They don't pay for anything. So
It's
they
different
just-
depending on
they're
the
just
individual.
enrolled. Yeah. And so for me, it feels a little bit different, you know?
Exactly.
So the city is paying for them.
And
State,
Like
yeah,
a
the state is, yeah.
Unless there are additional
I
things
see.
that they're going to be doing, so that's where I was like, I don't know, but we didn't have anybody like that apply.
I mean, I think it's something that the group could explore, you know, and
Exactly.
see.
There's a folder on Google Drive with all the notes for the
Yeah.
scholarship. that
So
we could look at.
these notes, no, but these can be added, and I'll add it into the email that I have for the three of you. And I don't know if there is one Google folder for the scholarship,
Yeah,
I have
there
to go
is.
back and visit,
Yeah.
but I can attach that likewise.
And I think you should be able to send it to everybody, and all they were just
For just
reply is say
information.
yes or no, you know, like they're not, that's not deliberation.
Yeah. And not making decisions on that. And so, speaking of any other further before we move on? But speaking of the Google Drive, there is a creation for new trustees folder.
Yay. I did see that.
Great,
Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
I think we should put, well, like, it's for you new, but we learned a lot too. Chris and
Yeah.
I, worked on that together.
It really didn't come about because, I mean, we do
Right.
have recent new, me, you, Alicia. But, and it was not for a lack of orientation that this idea came up. It was more, at least for me, by looking at the MBLC programs that came out, one in May, that was called So You Wanna Be a Library Trustee. And I looked at it in May, almost a year into being a trustee, and it was very eye-opening to me. Well done, kind of hand-holding too, which was nice. And then a series of 4 webinars, right, Krista? Just recently, and they've yet to post them on the MBLC trustees tab, but they will be posted there. But we took the links and put them on a folder, or in a document in the folder. And they were 4 different episodes, one on responsibilities, one on being a trustee, and we put little descriptions of what that meant in the webinar, on the document. Policy, which was very timely because it was right at the time of our last policy meeting. And the last one was advocacy, which was probably the newest and most different for me because, it's very good. So I just saw them as great resources, not just for new people, but if we do something on policy, I might go back and watch the webinar on policy. It's very nicely done.
So we linked to the webinar, which, is, I think her name is Al Hayden, presenting it, but there's also just the PowerPoint, so if you want the kind of cheat sheet version, you can look at that. And I did just add today the trustee handbook, so that's also
good.
just in there somewhere.
And they offered the pocket handbook, I think they called it, for trustees, physically, but they had a limited number, so I did order 6 or 10 or some number, and they're supposed to come this week, so we could have those available. But
Glad
it's
you
just,
could get in.
it's just, instead of reinventing things that might be helpful, MBLC did a good job putting them together.
Yeah.
And then, we had a resource page with open meeting law,
Yeah, these got pretty bad.
conflict of interest, our schedules, public
And
meeting.
we also wanna collect the contact information, just make sure we all have our current contact information.
Yeah, just a way of reaching each other if, we're not doing it kind of, on the spur of the moment. So it's in there, and as ideas come up or edits, just check it out and see if it's useful or
That's great. Already
and
useful.
a resource for you if you've got, an hour to kill. You can watch a webinar. They are well done, they're not boring.
Anything further on the folder?
Anything, Kristen?
I did just wanna say, I think advocacy is something that maybe we could think about organizing ourselves to do in a maybe slightly more formal way, cause there were things that I really didn't think about, like, well, obviously, like attending, say, the select board or something, we've already talked about that, but, when the state reps come, we could go to those kind of meetings. There's one coming up which I can't go to, but just, maybe think about how we can do more proactive
There,
advocacy.
Donnie and Peter's, chief of staff come to Hubbardston on a regular
Yeah.
basis.
Yeah.
To the senior center.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get a heads up and I can just shoot Chris an email like when they call my office to say, hey, we're gonna stop by or
Yeah.
we're gonna do the senior center, and that'd be a great chance to sit and
Yeah.
talk with them.
It could be just informal, but
Informal,
just,
but or even just like the state rep nights and stuff like that. Usually we get a heads up about those kind of in advance, so I can send those over to Chris when I do get them.
Well, I mean, I saw the announcement, there's just one coming up, I can't go to it, but they said, if you do that, then if money becomes available or something happens, then they know, oh, those are the Hubbardston trustees for the library, and they, it could just be a good networking, I
Does
guess.
the town website send out an email about those?
Yes.
Well, I get emails. Does
Yep.
it-
So you have to. So the
I
new.
get emails,
Yeah.
but I
Maybe
The.
it was in the
about
senior center
the senior
It was in
newsletter.
the
I
senior
don't
center
always get that
newsletter.
either.
Yeah, I don't
I
always
get it
a.
sometimes and sometimes
I don't
don't.
always get a heads up, but
That's
I've been getting better about since we moved down the street. We haven't been talking as much because I don't have to go for my morning coffee in the
Yeah.
senior center.
Yes.
So I'm trying to get a better line of communication. But we are gonna try to. We have a brand new website that just launched, so you'll be seeing more emails coming out from that.
Oh, yeah, they come from home now,
Yes.
like home.
Okay.
So the whole town is revamping the website?
It's beautiful. I did help design
Yeah,
it.
I did,
I helped design it.
it's
Colors.
finished and launched.
It's done and launched. There's this cool feature coming soon called Hub Fix that you'll be able to put in a ticket for a pothole or something like that. The DPW director is really excited about it.
Right now he is.
I tried to find the email for the DPW director to thank them
It
for
will be.
cutting our brush on
Oh.
the street.
Didn't he do a fantastic job? It's almost like the executive assistant lives on that street and he wanted to make sure she had a safe way to get to and from work.
Thank you.
That's not why I think he did it, but I did mention it to him that for some reason,
Well, if
Old
I ever see
Westminster
'em, I'll
got
thank 'em.
overgrown real fast.
It's dangerous.
It will be really interesting to see what pages have the most traffic, the most
Yep.
popular
Yeah.
Mhm.
view. I'm looking forward to that, what traffic report. So moving on to standing items, the trustees calendar, and looking at that. We've gone through beginning process of evaluating scholarship. We're moving into looking and planning out for CIPC grants. And we're looking into,
Yep, I'm working on my annual thought summary, what I did the past year, what the library did the past year. I'll get it to you before August, cause I'm working on the ARIS report right now, and I'll give you a copy of that at the August report. You'll have to sign the submission form, so I'll send you an email about that. But yeah, we can get together for that sometime in August.
and then it would be good, in the past, we've had 2, if not 3 trustees, I believe. You're not intimidated by having like 3 trustees, that we
No.
can invite 2 or 3, so are there any trustees present that are interested in attending?
I'm
performance
talking to
review?
400 people, yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah.
3 people, I can handle it.
I
Performance
mean,
review.
I'm
Would you be
happy to,
interested?
I'm happy to continue to.
We're gonna get all 5.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
we
one
can
for
look at
already, so
scheduling
it's-
potentially for her.
So you two will do it?
Yeah.
And then, road race. Oh, that's up and coming just around the corner in September as well.
Things have gone out, like, to
Mhm.
get sponsors and so forth, and so.
I got mine.
And the road signs are up.
Yes, the
Mhm.
roadside are on top of those out.
Thank you,
so.
Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah.
Town awarded funds for repairs. Steps of first floor rehab, foundation repair, brick repair, throwing that all in.
It's exciting, we can get rid of the green energy
I
grants
was
for
just
heat
gonna
pumps, we
say,
can remove that from the,
Can that be?
that can be removed, so.
Yeah, that's pretty much done. The heat pumps are done.
Wait, I'm sorry, the foundation,
We're on
the
the
brick
standing
repairs,
items.
yeah, the brick repairs and the foundation
No,
repairs?
just the
The
bricks.
green energy
just the green
grant.
energy grant for heat pumps.
Oh.
At the
They're
bottom.
live.
That one you can, cause they're pretty much done,
Except for painting.
except for painting.
Do we have spare paint?
Actually, back when they did all the paint job back in I think 2000, so I still have what the paint
Color?
Is.
chips, yeah,
Beautiful.
they're underneath the statue on the left as you're leaving the,
That's the
For you.
secure hiding spot for paint chips.
no, that was Jane's hiding spot.
Did not.
It was a good one because no one ever found him, so.
Okay.
So, I'm sorry, we're not talking about either of the other things, right, the first floor?
Are there any updates?
No.
I'm looking for Tom.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any updates on?
Nope.
I did, going back to Wendy's report, it was nice to see her lens of what she saw, and I felt much better, especially, so. And then this, make sure that, are we good?
Are we still on the face, are you talking about the bottom floor still? Or no?
Just looking
Every
at the
time.
standing items, so in Wendy's report, I was more, I felt, I guess, a sense of comfort and confidence that the first floor is doing pretty darn good. That's how I read the report. And just being cognizant in regards to especially like the paint and the wood molding and the door and so I was like, that was kind of in the frame of mind anyways, and that I don't think it's that much. But yeah, if there are no notes on the first floor rehab, foundation repair, or brick repairs, we're good. We can remove the green energy grants, and then looking at Krista with regards to the library subcommittee policy, I would line in here and add a note with regards to considerations directly from the director's report.
Do we need to schedule another meeting?
I think that we should, scheduling wise, I'd like to wait until start of school September for that, so that Krista and I have a chance to meet. So given that we meet in early September, I would actually like to table a decision by the trustees. But keep in mind, I would like to hold a trustee meeting in September for the subcommittee policy. Does that sound good to you, fellow policy subcommittee?
Yeah.
So
So, cause we're meeting on the 4th, so we would schedule a meeting later in September.
are there any considerations, again, of the 5 trustees that are here for the month of September? I mean, we can tentatively set a date now.
I would maybe put a little bit of space between, or we have a trustees meeting on Thursday, we have the delivery Saturday.
Yeah.
So I would maybe advocate not for the week of the 8th, just so we have a little
Window,
time.
so either the week of the 15th or even, we have the 22nd through the 26th, or I would do it in those 2 weeks, because then we would be meeting October 2nd.
Do we know if there'll be a fall town meeting?
Yes. Yes?
I would,
It's usually on a Tuesday.
he hasn't, nobody's said anything, but over the past few years, we've had a special town meeting, we have the 48 projects on the docket still, I would just keep it in the back of your mind that it is a probability, just because.
Do you think that would
usually on a
fall like the
Tuesday.
22nd week?
We could wait till October.
Well,
thought
the
they
other thing
tended-
is that we could in theory
We
set something up, and
tend
if we
to
need
do
to, we can
October,
move
don't
it.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah,
October
October for a special town meeting sounds about.
No, it's usually
No.
September.
I thought it was September, like September 17th last time is in my mind.
Well, if we're talking about Thursday, I could do the 18th.
We had 3 town meetings last year, so I'm just 3 town meetings, which is awful.
The other thing is we can tentatively set something up, neither at the August meeting, or we would be meeting September 14th and say we need to update due to conflict,
September 14th.
or we can postpone.
Do we wanna do the 18th or 25th? I mean, we could do the 11th, I was just saying that,
So they got
because
one
we
in
do a Thursday and a Saturday, we just might want to.
That was 48.
I can't do the 25th.
Don't be serious.
18?
Mention my entry.
18th?
That's fine.
And,
We usually just keep it on
It's just
Thursday
a
and
thought it was-
Sundays, yeah.
I thought it was
Policy
October.
meetings.
This will be soon.
Oh, I didn't do story time.
So-
meetings. I have to be at the table.
in keeping as in the past, the subcommittees have been virtual.
Yeah.
If there's,
September 18th is not a good day for me.
Okay.
okay,
So we won't do that.
Pretty much any other day would work.
Do you wanna do the 11th?
I'm okay with the 11th.
actually the 11th would not work for me. So we'd be looking at a different day, or like a different day of the week.
Why don't we wait till August and schedule
Okay.
it then, because.
Let's postpone.
people-
So in speaking with regards to August as well, in scheduling, I'm going to kindly request, because our meeting should be, and I don't wanna change it, August 7th, unless you're all comfortable with it, but I will be gone. And I will be gone for the month.
Where are you going? Or, you don't have to say, sorry.
So you wanna just put not meet in August?
I'm happy if, Vice Chair would be comfortable with running an August meeting. Keeping it August 7th. And with enough notice, I should be able to make things, So, plan for August 7th at 11. In, we can discuss this after the meeting for Chris, for your review, because I'm not in August yet thinking about that.
Understandable.
I am available up until like the 5th, very likely. In my absence, is there another trustee that would step in for director review? Because that might be best. Timing-wise. No pressure. Yes?
Who do you
You're
have
like
now?
naughty.
You just have two? I did it
We've
last year.
had 2, we've had 3. Yeah, you were there last year. I was
Okay,
trying
that
to
would be
remember who
great.
was there.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable with that, because then it opens up scheduling, and I'm on backup for like the 31st through the 5th. I should be back on the 5th, and then I'm gone again on the 7th.
Connie and Chris K will form subcommittee for performance review for groups.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry about that.
I don't know if we told you, but the meetings are recorded, you probably know, and then you can watch them, on YouTube. I have to do that for the minutes.
Oh,
Just so you know, the special town meeting last year was November 19th, 1924.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because we had one in August for 48 Gardner Road, we wanted to give plenty of time, and then that's what it did in November. And I think the date that we picked in October, we couldn't get the school for some reason, that's why they pushed off.
Yeah, they run the gamut. Sometimes there's a lot in August, some are in October. One in 2020, there was one in September. So they do run the gamut. There's not one
Because
particular.
it's, you know, there's not one in the charter for special town meeting, not like there is for annual town meeting. So it's kind of when
What's
things come
available.
up or when we have a big, we could put together a hearty warrant.
Are there additional items to be discussed at tonight's meeting?
Yes,
All right.
sorry.
Table, Trish.
Okay, 2 things really quick. The Storybook Trail is going out at the end of this month because the Dottie Rock trail is going to be completely open. It is going to be ADA accessible, which is huge because it means my families that have strollers or families that have some, you know, disabilities can walk the trail. I'm going to get help to get it out there because that is 20 buckets of concrete out there that I will have to move on my own. But it sounds like the Boy Scouts and even some of the open space committees members have decided that it's important. Let's get it out there. They're gonna help me get it out there. So that's going out. So that's super exciting. It's an extension of the library based on its popularity and what I conceive. I'm gonna do a field trip story time where my story time families are actually gonna meet me out on the trail to do like ribbon cutting for the Storybook Trail. So that's really exciting. Just with your blessing, if it goes as well as I hope it does, I'm going to apply for a grant to get the more permanent locking cases that you see on more Storybook Trails instead of just the printouts on the concrete buckets.
Love it.
Love it.
I love temporary. I love the lock. I love Storybook Trails.
I like the temporary because I can move it if maybe at Dottie Rock, I can move it to somewhere else. I can move it around Hubbardston. It doesn't just limit me to one trail, even if I had it a permanent one on the Dottie Rock Trail, and then we had another one that's like a pop-up, and it goes to the Squabbin Land Trust, because I've talked to a few land trust members
Even-
about it. It moves as it goes.
Field day.
Field day,
The
the fair, whatever, you know, it moves where we move. It moves with the community and the community's needs, so.
Hubbardston Center School open house. You can have it from Center School. Wow.
Right, because the school
love
no
it.
longer has a library, which segues into my next question. There is a grant total that I need to ask permission for, which is $20,000. But the way it's written is if the grant itself is for $20,000, not I'm applying to several grants that the grant total is $20,000. I'm applying for about 6 grants. Chris sent me some. I found some on my own. So it's in total about 6 grants. They're small. They're $3,000, $5,000, that kind of thing. But the total will be closer to 20. So,
Did you require matching?
no. This is just like, it's a grant from Walmart, it's a grant from, just different
I'm not sure what you're
foundations.
asking. You're saying
Do-
if it's over a certain amount.
So if it's
you're-
over 20, I have to go to the select board for approval to apply for them. You have to ask for permission.
For one grant or?
Well, that's the thing. I was hoping that with your blessing that I could just apply for the grants, and yes, the grand total is $20,000, but they're all different grants of different amounts.
So the
Is it for
different grants,
programming?
different amounts for different things.
It's not just for programming, it's also just for the library in general.
So it sounds like we're not, while we're asking for a lot of grants that could total up to $20,000, each individual grant is not more than what the select board requires, so what we would have to do is figure out what do they mean when they want to know what we're doing.
Right, this is the first time this has happened, that when I added up all the totals in my Excel spreadsheet, I was like, ooh, that's a little close.
But you're not submitting them as one thing, so.
No, it's not like the community one-stop grant where I'm submitting one thing for multiple,
However, in the interest of transparency, it's
Right.
better to announce and be clear.
so,
I am very happy and comfortable with giving blessing that, yes.
because I can put it on the select board agenda, have Nate put it on the select board agenda being like, these are and because the total is of a certain amount,
Exactly.
I just wanted to.
If you have a spreadsheet, maybe that's something you could share with us too.
Of course.
And also, I was just wondering if maybe if you're gonna give a report, that could be combined with Chris's, so you don't have to wait till the end of the meeting, 'cause, you know,
I
mean,
have
it
thought
could-
about that. She does
Yeah,
the
if you
director's
wanna-
report, and I do like
you know,
a
maybe,
programming grant
director
report.
and staff report or something,
Sure.
I don't know, it
Yeah.
just might make more sense to
Yeah.
put it all together.
I also like to sit here and listen to you guys talk so that I know that when I'm doing these crazy things, that I'm aligning with what you guys have in mind for the library and stuff like that. And, like when you guys start construction, anybody you bring into the building has to be quarried. So that's not usually thought about. So we'll have to do that. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is, I know that Chris and I have talked, but the shred day is August 9th. It's a Saturday. All of the files in the basement of the library are going in a truck and being destroyed. Those filing cabinets then will be removed, either repurposed or recycled. So those will be out of the basement of the library to give you guys more space. The shredded day is open to the public as well, starting at a certain time. It'll be at 10 a.m. It's 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. that day, but the 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. slot is for boards and committees and town departments to come and have their records destroyed, and then 10 to 12 townspeople will be able to come in. My question is, if you haven't started construction yet, but just keep me updated, because I'm gonna need a place to store some town documents that need to come down to be shredded. If I can't store them in the library, that's not a big deal. I will find somewhere else. It's just, we've already got a lot down there that need to be destroyed and they can't move yet.
How much space are we talking about?
That's the problem is, we put the feelers out today to see the different departments. The biggest department that needs to shred is the department that's already storing all their documents in the basement of the library.
Where's the shredding taking place?
It's actually happening in the parking lot. I've already
Okay.
cleared it
I see
with
here.
Claudia.
Okay.
I'm gonna let Chief know, also because I'm sure he's got stuff he needs to shred. They're gonna back the truck up like I do for snowplow story time and all that other stuff. I'm gonna put a pop-up tent right outside just because it is August. It could get hot. The library is open at that point, so I'm gonna say if you are waiting for your documents to be destroyed, please feel free to go upstairs into the library to stay cool or whatever.
It's on
Let's have
August
lots of
9th.
applications available that day.
Yeah, it's a Saturday.
Yeah, that's the night.
It's a Saturday. I will be there running a show.
On the letterboard outside, get your free library card.
There you go. Sounds good.
So, and that way that space is cleared out for you guys and clean slate. I'm excited.
So I just put you applying for a variety of grants, and you wanna know if you need permission if the total is over $20,000. The town clerk or somebody maybe answer that, I don't know. But, and you will provide a spreadsheet of the grant applications.
Yep.
I mean, I think an FYI of that sounds.
Likewise, if we can just get a follow-up of what clarification they mean of like totality, and totality over a period of time, or
Right.
individual, and what is their kind of general atmosphere. I don't foresee an issue, I'm just curious, and just for a matter of transparency.
And I also want you guys' blessing on the different grants too, to apply for them.
Do you
If
have a list
I do.
available that you could share?
I can read them off really quick and go over them really quick. So the first one, is, hold on, I have to scroll back up, I scrolled down too far. Well, I can't apply for the bookmobile grant as much as Miss Frizzle wants her own bookmobile. Can't apply for the bookmobile grant, I just don't think we have the community that would benefit from a bookmobile, maybe
So
one day.
The budget.
What are the ones that we are applying for?
That one is Believe in Reading. It is.
Can you email me so I don't type
Yeah.
it out?
Yes, I will email them all to you. Believe in Reading, this is one that is a rolling grant, so you can apply at any time. And it's about a grant for expanding literacy. So Believe in Reading is mostly targeting struggling readers and a struggling reader program, which is near and dear to my heart, having a struggling reader myself. And knowing about in school we have a lot of struggling readers. I would love to have a struggling readers program at the library. That one is first time applicants get $3,000. Like it's just, and then you can ask for more, and it's a subsequent award, so I can apply for it every year. Love that one. The Libraries Without Borders, we no longer have a in-school library. They use our library as a school library. This funding will increase doing different programs when the classes come. Chris has done a few, the Dewey Decimal System and that kind of thing. This will allow us to expand our collections for the visiting school kids, and also other programs to be part of their in-school library is that door, to the front door. The Walmart Spark Good local grants, you have to be in a certain district of a Walmart or a Sam's Club or a distribution center, so we've got both. And they just addressing specific community needs. So it would be whatever we decide is a program that we want for the library. So
Could that help with the renovation, do you think?
there
Is
is
it
one
only,
for
like,
the
books or
renovation, but yes, we could use that. Then the Foundation for Rural Service Community Grant Program, this one is Business and Economic Development, Education and Workforce. I think that would be perfect because we want that programming space in the basement. It's what I applied for the Community One Stop Grant for, is to redo it so that we can hold like digital literacy classes for seniors, or a FAFSA night for parents who this is their first kid going to college and they have no idea how to fill out a FAFSA. That kind of thing where we will now have the space to hold classes like that. That is what I would use that grant for, is for the basement renovation, as well as the NASDAQ Foundation for Financial Literacy. So teaching kids how to do their taxes, teaching kids how to do Excel in an Excel class, even for our seniors. Our seniors are moving from maybe retirement classes. Okay, you're moving to retirement, this is how maybe go forth. But again, we need the space to do that. So I would use this to retrofit the space downstairs so that we have programming space. So I'm gonna like piggyback them. But no, none of these are matching grants. And then the last one is the Mass Cultural Operations Grant. I would like to apply for because we have been using our space for cultural events and performances. Because I would like to bring in storytellers and stuff like that coming up. And the other one is the Worcester Community Foundation that we went to the grant writing class for, is opening up a grant that we will be allowed to apply for this year. Last year we got all the way to the end, and because we didn't have a 501c3, we did not get the grant, but they said we had a really great application. They opened up a grant that we can now apply for even though we don't have a 501c3, so I'd like to apply for that.
I'm happy with those. Trustees?
So the grand total, if the universe is smiling on me, would be about 21, I think, is the final total, if everything comes through. So, 21.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. 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 Thank you.
Is there any progress on the pop-up food pantry?
So the woman who started the food pantry and did the conversation with us, she left.
She left.
So she put it in hands with someone else, and I have not heard from that person, but I will follow up. It's on my docket to follow up with her and get that started. And then the only last thing is I told the designers to build us a vault in the new 48 Gardner Road. It doesn't matter what A, B, C, B, D plan they come up with for 48 Gardner Road, I need a vault put into 48 Gardner Road so that on the future you guys can remove or repurpose the honkin' vaults downstairs in the basement.
It's not haunted.
I know I said honkin',
Honkin'.
but it is haunted.
It is not.
It is haunted. She throws romance books off the shelf.
All right. Are there other standing or other unexpected items?
Can I just ask what the next step is for the renovation of the bottom floor,
Ground floor. Ground floor?
ground floor?
Gonna get clicker training.
Well, when, how? Do we know what the next step is?
Great.
So we have the money, right?
Yeah.
We have the money, we need do we have quotes? So,
Probably need to contact the people again.
so
We have some
now that you have
quotes.
the quotes and you wanna have somebody do a second opinion on the flooring.
I have
before-
someone that does historical renovations. He did his own house back to its historical nature, and he could help. If he could not, he knows people who could help. So
We need a general contractor.
Yeah,
we should.
Yeah, it feels like we should have a subcommittee that kind of like really starts to get into, like really go through the
Plan.
Yes.
plan, go through the report that Wendy wrote and just start to,
And I would push to have that, especially the flooring, and getting someone with somewhat just familiarity with historical floors. Because I'm going to finish that sentence.
So set up a subcommittee to work on.
I would like to nominate Tom to be at least part of that, and I would love to get 2 other people into that. Amy? I'm so excited to be on ground floor subcommittee.
Right.
I'm happy to with that.
Okay.
I got all this free time now.
Okay.
You're gonna fill it with tonight.
I'm happy to be not on it. That is not my strength.
I'm not a trustee, but I'm happy to liaise with you.
You'd have to be
I would love that.
I'm just not gonna volunteer on my first meeting.
I hear you.
That's very
Probably
fair.
a smart thing to do.
I
Ease your way in.
can do it. I feel like I don't really have the expertise.
Yeah,
That sounds great though.
You would give a
Because you'll have
librarian's
different
perspective.
questions.
Yes.
Chris, do you wanna be on it? Cause you've done a lot of the legwork, so I mean,
I
I can
have
back,
some
I
of the
can back off,
contacts.
you know, I can step back.
Or I can back up
You know,
and you guys can.
Um,
You just went through a renovation, right? So
Yeah.
You're a pro at this.
I don't know about that.
Well, Chris is on the working group for the scholarship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But you did such a great job of contacting all this.
Well,
you have a wonderful
know
eye for
how-
detail as well.
we have a list of people who are interested. That's how far that went.
But they gave us.
But we have to
bids.
revisit the floor and get a general contractor and get a plan, you know, a timeline. Yeah, I wouldn't mind sitting in on that committee with Tom
Okay.
and whoever else.
I wouldn't mind sitting in on it because I need the details so that I can
Yeah.
talk to submit the
Oh,
form
yeah,
for
I think
the historical commission for the state.
Yeah.
Could Tom direct that committee, subcommittee?
Tom, Connie, and Chris,
I
and
don't
then
want to speak in
Tricia.
his
Yeah, I know.
absence, and likewise,
He
also
is.
in his, if he says,
I'll leave.
She doesn't.
I cannot, I would keep in mind Krista, because I feel a power, especially on that magnitude of the first floor or the ground floor rehab. The more eyes, the better, the more insight. So I'd like to have 3 trustees on it, and for whomever can make the meeting.
I mean, we could have 4, we just have to post it.
Okay.
You know, like if you wanted to have 4 people, it would just be a meeting and, you know, a meeting of, so, and then the other thing.
So Krista, if you do want to, yeah.
Cause we did that when we did the, 150th anniversary of the library, when we were doing like all the boards for like road race and stuff like that, like a bunch of people wanted to be on it, so we just posted an agenda for people, you know, so.
We did that for the ADA compliance review that we did too, so. So add yourself.
So let's
to
see
the
what
email.
Tom wants to do and then
Be good to meet in
coordinate
August,
if we need to, yeah.
end of July even.
Okay, so we'll schedule a meeting in July, later in July.
Meeting
Early
to be
August.
determined.
That's too funny, I was just about to give you my email within a week.
Yeah.
We'll just trade.
And then, not to overwhelm you, usually we try to keep to about an hour, but this was a jam-packed agenda.
A lot of detail, this doesn't normally happen this way.
No.
Okay, good.
No,
This is
this is not. Are there any additional agenda items?
Even if there was, I wouldn't tell you.
Okay.
We're done.
May I have a motion? Is there a motion to adjourn? Anybody to second? Wow. Okay. All in favor? Aye.